creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
She just rocked the whole situation.
People would say when they would wake up the next morning, their tent would be outside of the circle, and they wouldn't even realize.
While they're still inside the tent.
While they're still inside the tent. There is this place that people believe the devil goes and visits. It's in North Carolina, and it's really deep in these certain woods. Pretty much no animals will go by this area. No plants will grow by this area. Anybody that goes over there, they won't be there long.
Really?
Yes. I didn't even believe this until I looked it up myself. It is a 40-foot circle of literally like barren wasteland. There's nothing around there.
Just dirt.
Just dirt. Nothing can grow there. They call it the devil's tramping ground.
What?
People have said for years is that the devil goes and just walks around that area every night, and he leaves the ground just scorched. Like, there were people that actually would put their tent in the center of that area. These people would say when they would wake up the next morning, their tent would be outside of the circle, and they wouldn't even realize.
While they're still inside the tent.
While they're still inside the tent. And everything that they brought would be moved outside of the circle.
Swear.
And there's a bunch of people that have claimed of this as well. Yes, it's not just one person or a couple stories.
Bro.
So I don't understand that. And there were people that would go over there and be like, let's debunk this. We're going to go and plant something here. Nothing will ever grow regardless of what you try to plant.
That's insane.
You know, we need some influencer to do a 24-hour live stream of this production and everything.
Cuba has been in near total darkness for nearly 2 weeks now, and hardly anyone even knows about it. On October the 17th, the country's power grid suffered a complete collapse, triggering nationwide blackouts and leaving 10 million Cubans without power. But 10 days later, despite the grid running again, millions are still without electricity, with food rotting in powerless fridges, and many even lacking access to clean water. And the people of Cuba were already facing serious food shortages before this. The government even asked the United Nations for help for the first time in their history. But the sad part is that these power cuts are only a symptom of the deepening crisis Cuba is facing right now. You see, when Obama was president, he eased some of these long-standing restrictions against the communist-run country. This triggered a substantial boost in their tourism industry, which accounts for about 10% of their GDP. But then 2020 hit. And not only did it destroy their tourism, but just a year later, as one of Trump's last acts as president, which still stands today, he added Cuba to America's list of state sponsors of terrorism, alongside the likes of Iran, North Korea, and Syria. And one of the major effects that this had is that if you've traveled to Cuba after 2021, it makes it significantly harder to get a visa to then enter the United States. And this only worsened the damages on their tourism. Until today, it still hasn't recovered. But for Cuba, things only get worse, because 80% of their power generation comes from oil, half of which was cut by one of their few allies, Venezuela, to ensure their own supply, forcing Cuba to buy far more expensive fuel on the spot market. The government is running out of money while the people are simply running out. This chart from The Economist, for example, shows the skyrocketing number of pending asylum applications from Cuba since the year 2000. No one knows what lies ahead for Cuba from here, but as of right now, it's not looking good.
Why is UN not helping? I don't get it.
They got him, man. They
got him.
You see these pearl necklaces right here? What do y'all think he's wearing those pearl necklaces for exactly? I don't know. Hey, bro, what I want to know is how you go from looking like that, like me, to going looking like this right here, man. No offense, NGK, but, you know, y'all are built about the same now, man. But he was a big muscle guy, you know, and you're just not. So why are you wearing the pearl necklaces? I mean, from pearl necklaces to a whole bodysuit of pearls, man. I just don't... Why is that? Now, I'm no expert or anything. Get him to the Greek with the egg trick or whatever. Come on, man. Look who it is. And you got pearls, and more pearls. I mean, y'all do it for attention, or is there something more to the pearl thing? Well, let's see. So a lot of people say these beads and whatnot, pearls or whatever, have something to do with that word right there that I can't even say. This video probably won't even stay up. I can't post anything anymore that I used to post because of stuff like this right here. And I'm so vague to the point now, it's gotten ridiculous. So hopefully, free speech and all that, hopefully it'll make a comeback. You know what I'm saying?
I like to hear what Russell Brand has to say, because he has done a complete 180.
Oh my God. Please tell me this isn't true. Because after seeing this, I've lost all faith in humanity. And even though they're going to kick me off of TikTok for even showing you this, I have to show you. Look, Ellen, as we know, has been running the game for forever. I mean, she's done this time and time again. And she's world-renowned as one of the best talk show hosts there is. But Ellen's facing a lot of controversy recently. Not just because of the fact of the way she treats her staff, or the fact that some people say that behind closed doors, she's really just rude, but because Diddy got caught. Now, I mean, he's facing crazy allegations, don't get me wrong, but people were more interested in the fact of how he lasted this long without getting caught. People said there has to be help. Somebody's helping him. But who? And apparently what they're saying now is that everybody's starting to point their fingers at Ellen because they were best friends. And honestly, I don't even want you guys to see the secret video that they found from the ring in my TikTok description.
You know, I have to arrive fashionably late.
All right. Not too late, though.
Not too late?
Not too late, please.
What time would you like me there?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But not too late. Because, once you get there, the party really starts.
And Oprah Winfrey been helping him too.
And so the next person that I was seeing in my sleep, God only gave one sentence about this person, and it is the rapper Rick Ross.
Rick Ross.
It was very short what the Lord said. Rick Ross will lose his life. Yah says he is an unmerciful man who has destroyed many. And I guess the people who may know more about that are the people who actually know what Rick Ross does, or it might be a hidden sin that nobody knows. The next person...
She said Kamala will be the president. I don't get it. How? When?
You're going to watch this video and you're going to wonder to yourself, why wasn't this taught in school? Today, let's talk about one of the most awe-inspiring groups I have ever come across and learned about, the Lakota tribe. When I tell you they were done dirty, I'm telling you it is disgusting. Let's dive into it. So the Lakota territory encompassed the larger portion of the northern Great Plains. You can see it here. You might recognize names of some of the more notable members. You have Sitting Bull, Black Elk. Black Elk Speaks, incredible book. Crazy Horse, and that's just to name a few. But the Lakota were nomadic hunters. They would move across the Great Plains in sync with the buffalo herds. They lived in teepees, had an incredibly strong community structure. Loyalty to the community was everything. And the most sacred spot on earth for them is called the Black Hills. I want you to remember this. This is very important. The Black Hills are incredibly important to their origin story. They believe it is the center of the universe and it's where their people came from. It is an incredibly sacred site where they would experience the gods, they would bury their dead, they would hold ceremonies. So much of their cultural identity is tied to this. There are so many incredible books that I highly recommend you read. Lakota Way, mind-blowing. Black Elk Speaks, mind-blowing. My People by Luther Standing Bear. The list goes on and on. What's fascinating is when you read these histories, you constantly hear about the yellow metal that drove white men crazy. And as settlers would push out, their land continued to be more and more encroached upon. But the thing is, they didn't view it as their land. They had literally no concept of land ownership. How can you own the land? Well, the government would come in and they would make these treaties. These areas are ours, you need to go to those areas. And if we do that, we won't fight. The treaties were always broken. And not a single treaty was ever broken by the Lakota. Here's the thing, the Lakota are incredible fighters. That's not just the men, it was the women too. There were many battles where the US suffered heavy losses. So the government would get all the chiefs together, they would sign a new treaty. The one thing the Lakota said in every treaty was, do not touch the Black Hills. That is sacred to us. And the government's like, yeah, we won't touch the Black Hills, you can have it, it's yours. Oh, by the way, if you haven't heard of the Wounded Knee Massacre, 500 soldiers came upon the Lakota. It was about 350 men, women, and children. Tensions were high at this time because there was a widespread movement called the Ghost Dance Movement. You can learn about it in Black Elk Speaks. It was a spiritual thing. Soldiers ordered the men to surrender their weapon. Scuffle broke out and the soldiers started firing. They killed 90% of the men, women, and children. The survivors said they have never seen grown men shoot women and children in the back as they were running away for safety. They would talk about how literally, even in war, there are lines you don't cross. And they never did. I want to talk about two treaties that were signed. In 1851, there was the Fort Laramie Treaty. Well, in 1851, there was the Fort Laramie Treaty where the U.S. recognized the Lakota Territory. The issue is settlers kept going west and they didn't care, and the government did nothing to enforce it. So fights broke out. In 1868, there was another Fort Laramie Treaty. And in this treaty, it guaranteed the Black Hills to the Lakota in perpetuity. They were literally promised that no white person or person shall be permitted to settle upon or occupy those lands. But then gold was discovered. So in 1874, General George Custer led an expedition and he confirmed that gold was there. This sparked a mad gold rush. The US government tried to buy the Black Hills from the Lakota, and the Lakota were like, what the hell? It's not for sale. This is our spiritual land. The government was like, yeah, but gold. So the government was like, well, if you don't sell it to us, we'll just violate the treaty.
Ooh.
This is the Black Hills. Beautiful, right? You want to know what we did to it? This is also the Black Hills. Like, what the hell? Bet you didn't know that about Mount Rushmore. Take the most sacred place, a place where people literally communicated with God. A beautiful area, literally designed by divinity, and we carved egoic faces into it. Bet you didn't know that. Oh, by the way, in 1980, the Supreme Court ruled that what happened to the Lakota was unjust, that land had been taken illegally, and so they were awarded financial compensation, which they replied, we don't want the money. We've never wanted the money. We want that land. It's our sacred land. But funny, when we talk about Mount Rushmore in schools, we never bring up the history behind it. They were right about everything they said, especially the yellow metal that drives people to go crazy. Oh, and if you're interested, you should go read the story of the White Buffalo Calf Woman, because within that story, there is a prophecy that she would come back and bring back harmony, balance, and peace, spirituality. And literally, a white buffalo was just born recently, fulfilling the Lakota prophecy. And I am looking forward to her bringing back harmony, balance, peace, spirituality. Because
gaps when you show Mount Rushmore. Wow. If you don't know, now you know. Learn new things every day.
Hear me out when I say this. There's no aliens in the water. There's no aliens in the ocean. I used to think it was a mistake that they were mislabeling these things that they're seeing. I used to think maybe it was a mistake. Maybe they just don't understand. No, I think now they're just playing in our faces. It's literal demons, okay? All of this is a spiritual thing. Have you guys ever heard of the Marine Kingdom? Yes, the Marine Kingdom. Do your research on the Marine Kingdom. I don't have enough time here to explain to you what the Marine Kingdom is. Just do your own research. Let's also think back to remember when there was a demon-possessed man, and remember the disciples couldn't cast out this demon. This is in the Gospels. The disciples could not cast out this demon, and so they went to Jesus and they said, hey, we cannot cast out this demon, whatever the case may be. Jesus comes to the land and he sees the demon-possessed man. He says, oh, you can't cast out this demon because this demon can only be casted out by prayer and fasting. And so he asked the demon his name. The demons said Legion. His name was Legion, for we are many. It was many demons living inside of him. So when Jesus went to cast out these demons from the man, they begged him to be cast into something. They didn't want to be just disembodied spirits running around. They wanted to be cast into something. He casted them into the pigs. The pigs go and jump in the waters. Obviously, the pigs die, right? So the disembodied spirits roam the waters. Listen to me. If you go outside and you see a creature outside that resembles an animal, let's say it has a cat face, it has bear paws, it has a fox tail, you're going to still label that thing as an animal. You're not going to just switch up you're not going to switch up the entire thing to label it something else. You will only label something that has characteristics of something else. That thing in that habitat, right? So if I go outside and I see a human that has the face of a dog and the belly of a fish, but like it appears to be a human, I'm not going to label that as an animal. I'm not going to even label it as a human. I might label it as something else. Why? Because it has other characteristics. Why wouldn't they just label these things as sea creatures that they haven't discovered? Think about it. Because these things have different characteristics that they don't see in any other sea creatures. Okay? I'm telling y'all, the waters, the reason why they haven't explored, I won't even get into all that. Read the book of Job. The reason why they haven't even explored all of the waters is because there's a limit on how far they can go. As above, so below.
There was a new heaven and a new earth, and there was no more sea. Revelations 21, verse 1.
Take the pictures and do all that, bro. You feel me? Because I'm gonna remember everybody. I'm gonna remember everybody. in faith, bro. You feel me? Straight up, you feel me? Matter of fact, let me record y'all so I can remember y'all. I'm scared, bro. I see through what's going on, bro.
What's going on?
I see through what's going on. That's some weird, that's some whack ass.
How is this whack? We were protecting.
Aha! Pedro tried to gaslight them as being the weird one. Compton better handle their own on this one.
Why do people think they can get away with stuff like this? 4 men have just been arrested for insurance fraud after they tried to claim that a bear damaged their Rolls-Royce and Mercedes. But after an investigation, turns out that they allegedly bought a bear suit, damaged their own cars, and then defrauded 3 insurance companies out of nearly $142,000. They even provided footage of this bear climbing into one of their cars and clawing its way to the back as part of their damage claims. So when the insurance company watched it and thought, that bear looks a little sus, they got a biologist to watch it and they concluded that it was clearly a human in a bear suit. And after police carried out a search warrant and found a bear suit with sharp metal claws, just a standard item that most people own, they were quickly arrested.
Dummy. These guys really thought they could outsmart everyone with that bear suit. Insurance fraud is no joke.
This sequence is part of the evidence examined by the court in a lawsuit brought by the heirs of the victim against an insurance company.
This guy was eaten alive in front of his family. This incident took place at an African safari on February 18, 1975. And in the video, a white vehicle can be seen parked next to a hungry pride of lions. And in the vehicle was a man, his wife, his 9-year-old daughter, and his 2-year-old son. The man then proceeded to get out of the vehicle and told his wife that he was going to take the perfect photo and that everything was going to be okay. But what happens next is the most brutal thing I've ever seen in my life. In the footage, the man can be seen slowly walking up to the lions while holding this big camera. And just 3 seconds later, a lion that was hiding in the bushes attacked them from behind. The guy can then be seen helplessly trying to get the lion off him, but with little to no effect. Other drivers in the area then began shouting and beeping their cars to scare the lion off, but this obviously didn't work. Moments later, more lions joined in the attack, and before you know it, they start ripping the man apart in front of his family. The camera then zooms in into his family faces where his daughter, wife, and 2-year-old son can be seen crying with desperation. Guys, they can do nothing but watch and let this attack take place. The man's arms, legs, and head can then be seen slowly being ripped apart. And before you know it, the lions start taking out his organs. Guys, the entire attack lasted over 2 minutes and the guy's body was completely ripped apart by the end of those 2 minutes. His family was never the same after this incident.
Course.
Again, guys, this is the most brutal thing I ever seen online, so whatever you do not watch this video.
I remember watching it on Faces of Death.
A ghost story. It's the realest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I collect Native American artifacts. And so my buddy and I, we went one afternoon. We find some stuff. I go home, don't think anything about it. I lived in a cabin in the middle of the woods. Went to bed sober. I woke up, my kitchen window had been unlatched and pushed open. Dude, what? My wife had bought this mirror. And so she and I hung this mirror. We looked at it really good and we were like, okay, good, go to bed. The next day, the mirror's got a giant scratch across the freaking mirror.
Dude.
So there was 1 week that I woke up every single night at 2:59 on the freaking dot. The last night I woke up borderline having a panic attack. My heart was racing, I was sweating, and I turned my lamp on and I put my feet on the side of the bed and I stand up. When I stood up, something jumped from that balcony to the floor and it ran through my house to the point where I grabbed my gun, dude, and I freaking racked that thing and I freaking vetted my entire house because it was so real that I was convinced that somebody was in my house. And dude, there was nothing. So scared, man. Dude, there was literally
that is the scariest image.
This is how specific it was. I heard the wood crack from the hands, the pressure, and then a second of pause, and then the thud shook my windows
like
in
a
my
human size.
1000%. So we didn't tell anybody about this. And my buddy finally told him. He was like, man, one night I woke up and my dog was barking. She never barks. And he was like, I woke up and I heard a thud downstairs. He said something had opened his freaking Arrowhead case where his, like, the stuff that he found that day was in his Arrowhead case.
What?
I swear on my life.
Where are the aliens?
When you say what are the aliens,
where are the aliens? Like, why don't we see them? A lot of people think we see aliens, but I've not seen any evidence of aliens. Yeah, we've got 6,000 satellites in orbit, and not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spacecraft.
Right. But on this Earth, the U.S. military's had to do a lot of maneuvering around objects they can't explain.
I mean, there's always a bunch of classified programs that are underway of new aircraft and new missiles and things. So that are classified even within the military. So it's only if you have the top secret compartmented clearance, would you know about this new program? So then, some pilot sees something moving fast and says, hey, I saw a UFO. I'm like, yeah, that was actually a new weapons program, but we can't tell you that. The split second I see any evidence of aliens, I will immediately post that on the X platform. And it'll probably be our #1 post of all time.
That'll be your biggest day.
Yes.
For sure.
I agree. There's no aliens. They're demons. Maybe some of them Nephilims.
I have a really weird story. So this guy, his name is Cliff High. It was 1997. He developed this software program called WebBot. And what it would do, it would scan the entire internet, collect data, it would make predictions for the stock market. But then he delved into it a little more. It's just like, let's see what else it can predict. In 2009, it came up with a prediction of the future that there was going to be a battle in the air with the military and UFOs, and that even UFOs would be fighting UFOs.
Whoa.
But there had to be a trigger to
set it in motion.
Yeah, set it in motion. It said that when this trigger happens, then 39 days later, this prediction will come true. Here's the crazy part. 2009. The trigger was Donald Trump would be interviewed by Joe Rogan.
No.
Nuh-uh. No way, dude. That's crazy.
Project Blue Beam, coming to a sky near you.
What if I told you the ocean was the real outer space? A couple years ago, an independent researcher named Tyler Schmerkenhieser designed and engineered a one-of-one submarine with an adaptive hyperalloy composite hull. To prove it, guy was obsessed, believed the concept of the ocean floor itself was a lie. Stuck a camera on the front of the submarine and set off into the unexplored depths of the Mariana Trench. And Buddy, the species he'd captured on these videos, were things that have yet to be explained to this day. But instead of finding the seafloor, he discovered what he described as an abyssal vortex, a swirling black whirlpool that no previous expedition had ever encountered. Said that by the time he'd gotten through it, he rose up to lands that he'd never seen before in his life. Saw these strange human-like beings standing up on the shore. Was like this upside-down world, accessible through vortex canals in the depths of the water.
Anyone been thinking of the movie The Abyss? Haven't been able to stop thinking about that movie. This guy. Oh man. This is a good prank. Oh. Is this a Komodo dragon? No. Just a lizard. Big lizard. What is that? Oh, dog. It's a dog. Plot twist. It's their pet. It's not real, but it looks real. There's even a shadow.
Humor Humanoid robots are getting creepier by the day. A startup from Poland called Clone Robotics is on a mission to create some of the most human-like robots ever, even going as far as to use a musculoskeletal body using hydraulic tendon muscles covered in this stretchy skin-like fabric. And it's not just for show, because they claim that it is the strongest biomimetic hand in the world. Oh, and just like in the movies, their artificial muscles bleed if punctured. So
No way.
things are getting serious now.
So no one watch Westworld? Sarah O'Connor was right. I mean, Ronald Reagan was an actor too. uh, oh man. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh man. It's like, bro, you're embarrassing me in front of my owners right now.
300 dirhams prize if you guess the following. 20 plus 20 plus 20 is equal 60. You have to use the same number 3 times to get the same result of 60. You can only use addition. You have 30 seconds to answer to win the 300 dirhams. Yes. Only addition. Yes. The pen is yours. Time started.
It's not possible. No, it's not possible. You cannot use 20, right? Oh, you can.
Does it have to be a whole number? It has to be a whole number.
That's not possible.
Time's up. Time's up.
Let me know in the comment if you get it.
Made the Corvette. That guy was on TikTok live, and supposedly he got lined by a girl that he invited over.
You sharing locations with somebody? No. Yo, bro, that's not funny, bro. I'm about to turn this live off, bro.
He was on live and he was just chilling, right? They were chilling with the girl. He like peeks over to his girl, the girl's phone, and the girl is sending his location. He's like, yo, are you trying to like, what's going on here? And she can't give him a direct answer. He's like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, no, I didn't send your location, even though you see like that pin, bro. And he's like,
no,
yo,
bro, you gotta go
right now. And her excuse was, I'm just telling my friend that I have her charger and that where I'm at.
Because I took my friend's charger and she wants to know where she could come get.
Fam, if you're telling your friend you have a charger, you can just send them a pic of your charger. And everyone on the internet was attacking that girl. She's like, I can't even work because a lot of people are coming into my McDonald's and like telling me, yo, you tried to lie to him. Like, yo, internet snaps back so quick.
Because they're on like if you done someone wrong, I'ma do you wrong because I relate to them. You can pick a side so easily. Enough information is there and go ahead and go rah 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 rah.
Over the course of the next few years, there will be certain things that will occur that will let you know that contact is about to happen. Not only in terms of an increase in sightings, but also in the way in which this may occur. There are several paths that may be taken by extraterrestrial beings, such as ourselves and others, to begin to initiate you into becoming familiar with our presence in a physical way. One of those ways may be something like this. Ships may appear over your oceans just offshore, so that you know the ship will stay there over the water. You may watch it from shore. It will not move. You will not feel in any way, shape, or form threatened because it is not coming over your heads, over land where you are, but remaining at arm's length out over the water, so that it gives you time to absorb the fact that they are there, off the coastlines of different countries around your world. They may be there for quite some time to allow you the opportunity to gather, to travel to those places, to see the ships. We understand that sometimes they may be surrounded by some of your aerial vehicles, such as helicopters and so on and so forth. But that will all just be part of the show. They will remain there to give you time to get used to the idea that we are here, to get used to the idea that this is the beginning of a great change upon your planet, of a great change in your society, to give you time to discuss among yourselves how you will respond to this change. Take your time. It's fine. There's no hurry. There's no rush. We're not going anywhere.
People believe this? Come on.
20-year-old Singaporean Malone Lam has been charged in the United States with pulling off one of the biggest single-person thefts in history, having allegedly absconded with about 300 million Singapore dollars worth of cryptocurrency, only to be caught and brought before the court in Washington, D.C. by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But how did Lam pull off this alleged score? According to court documents, Lam, together with his 21-year-old co-conspirator Jindio Serrano, identified a high-net-worth cryptocurrency investor based in Washington, D.C., and began scheming to get their hands on his millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency sometime in August 2024. To do this, Lam and Serrano allegedly committed what is sometimes known as social engineering fraud, whereby criminals exploit a person's trust to obtain money directly or obtain confidential information to enable a subsequent crime. To achieve this, Lam and Serrano first set out to scare their victim into believing he was under threat of having his Google account hacked by sending the investor several unauthorized Google account access notifications, and even making it seem as though the access attempts were coming from outside the United States via the use of proxy servers. This set the stage for August 18, 2024, when Lam and Serrano dropped the investor a phone call, pretending to be a Google support team staff, telling the victim that there had been a hacking attempt on his account. Perhaps frightened, the victim trusted the men who claimed to be Google staff and gave them access to his accounts. This gave Lam and Serrano free rein to locate his cryptocurrency assets. The alleged scammers then discovered Gemini cryptocurrency exchange records on the victim's Google account and hatched a second plan to pilfer the investor's millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency. Gemini is widely used cryptocurrency and custodian banking service. One of the conspirators apparently posed as Gemini's security team member and called the investor, claiming that his cryptocurrency account had been compromised. Then they convinced the victim to transfer about $3 million worth of cryptocurrency to a crypto wallet secretly controlled by Lam. However, that was not all. The scammers also persuaded the victim to download a program that would allow Lam and Serrano real-time access to his computer. Through this, the conspirator managed to get their hands on the victim's private Bitcoin keys. These keys are what gave Lam and Serrano access to the victim's Bitcoin reserves. When someone says they have cryptocurrency, what they really mean is that they have a private key that proves ownership of that cryptocurrency. That key allows a user to spend and access their cryptocurrency funds. These keys are usually stored in a cryptocurrency wallet, which is typically a mobile or a desktop software. The victim, in this case, had been allegedly manipulated into opening files on his computer that revealed to Serrano and Lam those private keys. And just like that, the victim lost nearly 300 million Singapore dollars, allegedly. After the heist, Lam and Serrano appeared to have been in a celebratory mood, forgetting the classic rule of all heist films: don't spend lavishly so soon after your score. However, it was not for a lack of caution that they were caught. The pair used sophisticated mixing methods and money laundering techniques to conceal the ownership of their stolen money, and appeared to have gone on a wild spending spree, spending more than 400,000 US dollars a night at nightclubs, purchasing luxury automobiles like Lamborghinis, Safaris, and Porsches, and even flying private jets to cash in on their newfound plunder. Lam's Bacchanalian lifestyle, however, came to a swift end on September 18, 2024, exactly a month after the phone call where he pretended to be a Google employee, when he was arrested shortly after traveling from Los Angeles to Miami via private jet. The FBI had also raided a massive waterfront mansion in Miami that Lam appeared to have been renting. Lam and Serrano was subsequently indicted on September 19, 2024 for fraud and money laundering. Lam appeared before the court on November 14, 2024 to request a speedy trial, a constitutional guarantee in the US that protects the accused from an unduly delayed trial. CNN reported that Lam's trial is likely set to take place sometime in March or April 2025.
Cybersecurity should employ Malone. This is funny. Morpheus from Temu.
What have you learned about choosing a good partner?
Sometimes you're running and the other one's walking. And it's okay to be ahead, but don't lose sight. Don't get so far ahead that you leave your mate lost back there going, sometimes, somebody's real healthy, the other one's on IR. But we're still on the same team. That takes patience by the one who's healthy and takes persistence by the one who's on IR. But you gotta wait up to hold that hand to go, we're still doing this together. Even though maybe in this zone right now in my life, I'm flying and you're walking. So certain things that I find, well, she's flying and I'm walking, And so navigating that, how we change as we grow up and measuring that against who we initially fell for in the first place and seeing, well, they are still that. Of course they changed. Hell, I've changed. I want to say, and a lot of times I know I said, well, you've changed. I'm like, what? Heaven, yeah, I've changed.
I'd hope so.
And doing that with a partner is part of the work, I think, of a relationship.
Is that the same person?
Yo, Diddy is in prison fighting for his life, and there's inmates fighting to make his bed. He's trying to reach out to witnesses by making three-way calls. Like when you're in prison, there's a certain group of people you can call, but you can get those folks to call other people. He's also buying phone time from other inmates. So even though he's in prison, he's still trying to intimidate witnesses. The government says Diddy is using relentless efforts, that's their phrase, to reach people to silence them. Prosecutors say Diddy has shown an uncanny ability to get others to do his bidding, including MDC inmates and employees. Are you telling me this guy's got guards doing stuff for him?
Yeah.
Of course, not all the guards are down with him. They did a sweep of all the cells and found something very interesting in Diddy's. Looks like he paid one of his singers from Diddy Dirty Money to go on Instagram and say that Dawn Richards' suit against him was a pack of lies. So even though he's locked up, the attempt to intimidate witnesses has continued.
Jail freak-offs are any day now.
Who do you think was the most dangerous gang in there on a violence perspective?
Goddamn Mexicans.
The Mexican Mafia?
But they only violent to their own. It's crazy. No car ever bumps heads. Most of the violence is in-car violence. You finna get hit by your own people. You finna get ran up by your own kind. That's it. I ain't seen a blow up. The only blow up at Macquarie was the Bloods and the GDs. And man, you got to see them locks, boy. Niggas getting hit with them locks. Woo! Man, hey, you just get out the way. Just look. Hey, man, all you see is chaos. And there you go. But to put like the Mexicans, they white, even with black and white, we only do it to our own. It ain't never now, if I had to say, if it ever went down like that, blacks dominate because more black people are incarcerated. Now, what's the stupid thing is, okay, you got white car, Mexican car, and maybe you got, now the Mexicans, they divvy up in different, when it come to being Cuban or Mexican Mafia or Texas Syndicate. But whites have independent and you have gang white, but they're still white car. The blacks got 100 different cars. Tennessee, South, West Coast, New York, all this shit. We the biggest race in here. Why we got a car? Why we just can't be the black car? Why does it matter where you from? We black, bro. We can run this. We can dominate everything here. Blows my mind.
It's called structure.
This Mexican TikToker just got killed for supporting El Chapo Guzman. This is Jose Carlos, better known as El Chilango on TikTok. His account gained traction when he started posting videos of himself selling candy on the streets of Culiacán, Sinaloa. And guys, at first his content was pretty harmless, showcasing his daily grind, trying to make a living in one of Mexico's most dangerous cities. But then things took a dangerous turn. He began posting videos where he openly praised none other than Joaquin El Chapo Guzman and his sons. And to make matters worse, he even declared himself as part of the notorious Sinaloa cartel in several clips. Now guys, I don't know if he did this because of clout or because he wanted to feel more powerful, but all of this backfired on the night of October 19, 2024. Around 7:30 p.m. while selling candy near a gas station in Culiacán, two armed men on a motorcycle approached him. One of them then got off the bike and casually walked up to Jose, asking a simple but deadly question. They said, "Do you support El Chapo?" El Chilango then answered yes without any hesitation. The man then pulled out their guns and opened fire, killing El Chilango on the spot. Rumors suggest that he was taken out by a rival faction, possibly those loyal to El Mayo. Let me know your thoughts about this situation in the comments below, and follow for more Mexican true crime stories.
Oh, wow.
Basically what they found was that this one mummy that they call Maria has an elongated skull, and in the CT scans they don't see any evidence of skull binding, which has been one of the big arguments that we've heard over and over again about why the Paracas skulls must have these elongated skulls. Well, in this particular case, there is no evidence whatsoever. You don't see any rings in the bony calvarium, you know, or the skull. You don't see any evidence of binding. There were no hair on this Nazca mummy they call Maria. No ear auricles. Maria has a cranial volume that's 30% greater than humans. In the paper, they say that she has 4 phalanges in the hands.
I need proof of authenticity. Oh, man.
A Tibetan Mastiff and a wolf fought to the death. A confrontation that ended in a truly tragic end for the wolf. It all began when a local herder, patrolling the vast, deserted terrain, spotted a lone wolf bolting toward a herd of Tibetan antelope. Despite the herder's loud shouts, the wolf was undeterred, setting its sights on an antelope with a vicious resolve. Within moments, the wolf lunged, locking its powerful jaws around the antelope's neck, delivering a fatal bite. Seeing this brutal scene, the herder gave his Tibetan Mastiff a swift command to attack. The loyal Mastiff sprinted across the desert expanse, closing in on the wolf with relentless determination. With nowhere left to escape, the wolf was soon cornered and confronted by the Mastiff. In an intense struggle, the Mastiff overpowered the wolf, ultimately killing it on the spot.
I think wolves have different species. You don't expect every wolf to be big as timber wolf. What do you think? Oh, and it's a lone wolf.
See, the filthy rich, they don't necessarily can't go to the hood and find a plug and find the drugs they want. The filthy rich can't find the chicks they want because, because they just can't risk being out there. They need somebody. Diddy's been the party guy forever.
Yeah, no, facts.
Forever. Now, the rich and famous, they love coming over to, this is their playground, is the music industry. Because the women singing are the highest trophies. The men rapping are the highest trophies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's other good-looking women out there, but they're not her who the world is going crazy over. Rich people don't really like women, like this beautiful woman, but to them, they want somebody that the world yearns for. So they want stars. Usually when you're the rich and powerful and you're around your family, you want to impress them. I call Diddy right now. You want to go to his party? Boom.
He's pretty much telling us that Hollywood is a display for the multi-billionaires who will never appear on Forbes or any press.
What is happening to the American Ramsey in South Korea right now? Do you know the game Where's Waldo? You look for a certain figure in a busy crowd, and when you find him, you win the game. It's like a big game of hide and seek. This is taking place in real life right now in South Korea. But instead of looking for Waldo in the red and white striped shirt, South Koreans are looking for this American streamer named Ramsey. One netizen comment reads, Ramsey's biggest mistake was that he let South Koreans turn their anger into a game of Ramsey catch. When anger and gaming skills are combined, there is no country in the world that can beat South Korea. And Ramsey's trying to be discreet, or at least he's thinking he is. He's wearing all black, which during the colder months, most Koreans do love an all black look. It's sleek, it's subtle, it goes with everything, it doesn't make you stand out. Ramsey's gone ahead and he's paired it with a black beanie. He's in a quiet part of Seoul, near a bunch of alleyways with his two friends, but that doesn't stop him from being hunted. Every single day that Ramsey is staying in South Korea, there is a bounty out for him. Albeit it's a rather small bounty, $770 for his whereabouts, but perhaps that's more insulting than anything. He's walking down an alleyway when he hears them. They're coming for him, the Koreans. He starts running for his life because the streets are relatively empty. Nobody's out. There's nobody that he can scream to save him. And even if he did, at this point, who's to say that they're not just gonna jump in and start beating him too? Honestly, maybe he's thinking that. Maybe it's radio silence up here while he's running away. I'm not sure. But there's this big Korean man that's chasing after him, just running down the alleyway after him. And once he reaches Ramsey, the Korean man grabs the back of Ramsey's jacket and slams him over his shoulder, smack onto the cold street pavement, and kicks him square in the chest and face. The whole thing is being recorded, and once it's uploaded, I've never seen a whole nation of people so united in asking, why not more? Do it some more. What is happening right now? Why is violence being condoned?
What if I told you this man is from the planet Venus? Yeah, you heard it, Venus, as in outer space, he's an alien. Now let's talk about Valiant Thor. Now, there's been conspiracies since the 1950s that this man came from Venus down to Earth and stayed at the Pentagon or the White House for at least 3 years and just was trying to help out with a lot of different things. Now, the legend of Valiant Thor is that he is a humanoid extraterrestrial that arrived on Earth from Venus with a mission to share advanced technology and to promote messages of peace, love, and unity, and to help humanity avoid self-destruction. And they say he was an extremely handsome guy around 6 feet and looked like a normal man.
And rumor has it the day he arrived, he landed his spaceship not too far away from the White House, I believe like 20 minutes out. And when he landed his spaceship, 2 policemen walked up to him. And that's when he spoke to them and told them he wanted to go to the White House and he needed to talk to the president. But they wasn't actually like talking, it was more like telepathy. And they escorted him right on to the president, like without a question and without a doubt. Now, on American Horror Story double feature, they had Valiant Thor on there. And he was peaceful. He wasn't like mean or aggressive or anything, but he was very strict and he stood on business. And I just thought that was really cool how they featured him on here. So it was said once he got to the president, he talked to Dwight D. Eisenhower. And he told Dwight D. Eisenhower that he was there to, offer advanced technology and a higher level of spiritual enlightenment. When Eisenhower asked him where was he from, he said, I come from your planet the Bible calls the morning star. And that's when Eisenhower was like, oh, okay, I know what Venus is. And rumor has it, he mentioned how his race has been monitoring Earth for hundreds of years and had become concerned with the state of the planet. He also advocated to clean energy sources and supposed to have brought with him advanced medications. And it was said that he had different meetings with Eisenhower and Nixon for at least 3 years that he was living down here. But this been a conspiracy for a long time, and a lot of people that worked inside said that he really was there. But if he really was here, he most definitely came down here for good reasonings and to help Earth become a better Earth. And there's also this book called Stranger at the Pentagon that is really good and it talks more about Valiant Thor. Now this could be just a conspiracy or it could be true. But now since they talking about UAPs in the ocean and that this stuff is actually real, even though we already knew it was real, but they don't actually verify that it is, I really believe this now. And like I said, they actually mentioned him on American Horror Story. So let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Have you ever seen, they just recently made images of quantum entangled photons? Take a look at what this looks like. Quantum entangled photons look like a yin-yang. Like exactly.
Oh, awesome.
Exactly. That's a quantum entangled photon.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Are you
oh my
kidding?
God. Maybe someone knew this thousands and thousands of years ago. The idea that the Chinese or whoever created that initial symbol, the idea that they just stumbled accidentally upon an actual image of quantum entangled photons, very unlikely. That just seems too insane and too amazing.
Walt Disney.
You know what reminds me when I see the intro of Walt Disney pictures? That is a morning star, also known as Lucifer, the light bringer. Look at the shackle at the feet. It's the same shackle like the Statue of Liberty got. The Statue of Liberty, the light bringer, here are the shackles at the feet. And the shape reminds me to the firmament. Just like here you can see the firmament, the worlds above and below. But this tower is the only one who peeks through this firmament, right? Which also reminds me to the Tower of Babel. And they built this tower to reach or to be like God. And the Tower of Babel looks a little bit like the European Parliament, right? Here and here. Right?
You ever hear about the Doctor Doom origin?
No.
So, Doctor Doom, the reason he became a master sorcerer and I guess this villain that he is because of his mother. So, his mother was actually a witch. And she would do all of these witchcrafts and stuff, and it led her to being trapped in hell. So what Dr. Doom did, Dr. Doom, he was gifted and he was so smart. He was one of the smartest people in the world next to Reed Richards, and they would always have their fights, right? Yeah. What he did and decided to do that Reed Richards did not want to was mix the supernatural with the tech.
And he did?
And join it and create one thing. So that's what he did. He discovered ways that he can use technology to his advantage, but also sorcery and supernatural shit. And what he did with it was for the sole purpose of bringing his mother back from hell.
That's fire. That's a good purpose.
So I think every single time it's his mother's birthday, he would go into hell and try to defeat Mephisto. That's like the devil in Marvel universe.
Gosh.
And try to fight to bring his mother back. Now, the show Agatha All Along, it takes place around these witches. And there's a character that seems kind of sus already. It's only in episode 2. Yeah. But a lot of people are saying that kid the way he acts and the way he's moving seems as if he knows a few tricks up his hand. First off, he was able to save one of the witches that nobody else was able to do, and it seems like he seems too, I guess, weak to do it.
Yeah.
People think that that kid is Mephisto.
So there's a pink hair theory.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So people are saying that if a celebrity comes out and dyes their hair pink,
Yeah.
so like you know how like if they go blonde, that's how you know like they're
in the
glowing.
creativity
Yeah,
mode.
creativity
Yeah,
mode,
that's
right?
a different theory.
So pink is actually they're at their peak, or they just got out of their peak depression state.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
so in the Yummy, I always talk about this, in the Yummy video, that was when Justin was at his most depressed state.
Oh, that's when he had the pink hair in the video.
hair. Who else went through this? Rihanna, she got abused by Chris Brown.
Yeah.
I think later on she went to do the pink hair.
Oh, damn.
And then Demi Lovato and Katy Perry, they were all open in interviews about being depressed.
Yeah.
They all had pink hair phases.
Yo, and Kanye. Kanye had the same thing.
And look, everyone's sitting out there trying to mix and match, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people who are associated with Diddy, Kylie Jenner, Jaden Smith.
She had pink hair too.
They all had pink hair waves.
Damn.
Yeah. That's like the whole thing is like...
That makes sense because it really could just be like a coded thing.
Yeah, because pink is like the loudest. It's like, I need some attention on me, except I don't want to tell you.
But also it could look nice. You know what I mean? Like it could look nice.
This is all just theory.
Yeah, it's just theory. But yo, honestly, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
'Cause Lady Gaga did that for a bit too.
Yeah.
But the reason I think it's true is because it could just be like a, you know, I'm crying out for help type of thing, but I'm not gonna leave it out in person.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a theory that why are the USA trying to crack the dome? Why insist getting through? This was said by Hillary Clinton.
Somebody, I believe, was mapping the world, was exploring the Earth during the Ice Age, and left us ancient maps that show features that only existed during the Ice Age. We have evidence that somebody, as yet unrecognized by archaeology, had the capacity to explore the world and to map the world during the last Ice Age. One of the things I find most striking is the presence of Antarctica on ancient maps, because we didn't discover it until 1820, and yet it's on maps drawn in the 1500s with great detail. The Orontius Phineas map. That map shows Antarctica exactly where it should be. Now, what the is it doing on a map drawn in the 1500s, which we know was based on older source maps when nobody knew it existed in the 1500s?
What do you mean we only discovered Antarctica in 1800? Is this real?
They told me they were making a hybrid race.
And for what?
They didn't when I wanted to know for what, but they never gave an inkling of what it was for, of what this hybrid race would be doing, where it would be, or what. My grandfather died in 1940, so this was in the 1930s when these things were happening with them. She said they would be sitting on the side porch at night, and they would see lights over the oil wells, and a lot of times they would see what they thought were little children dressed in white running around the oil wells. And on several times they saw it in the daytime. They would see these little children dressed in white, and once or twice they got up to go see if they could catch the little children and find out who they were, and they would start out, but by the time they would get there, the children would be gone. My main concept was creating a hybrid breed. At least that's what they told me, that they were trying to create a race of people that could live in our atmosphere and in their atmosphere. And they had not yet produced that person. Now, on another occasion, I remembered being shown a baby that really favored my grandson a lot. If you would, give it the slant eyes, they weren't as big as their eyes, but it looked human. And I knew that this was my child, and I wanted to take that child with me, but they said that it would not be able to live in this atmosphere. It's not really a frightening experience. It's just, it happens, and it doesn't leave you frightened. I think the thing that frightened me the most was that I was not consciously aware of what had happened, and I did not know what to put these ships with. I didn't have anything concrete to say, well, they're coming to do this or that. I just had the frightening feeling. And after I found out what had happened, I was at peace with what had happened, knowing that there's nothing that I can do about it, because I cannot stop them. Nobody can stop them from doing what they want to do. Nobody on this earth, because they are too far advanced mentally and technologically for, we don't have a defense at all.
It's like they do magic.
Yeah, they could come in today and take over if that was their desire. But like I said, I don't feel that it's their desire to take over through violence, and they don't care about governments. See, government control is not their thing. They want bodies, and they want minds that are going to do what they want the minds to do, but they need the bodies to do whatever it is with. And that's where we come in.
Children of the Corn. They showed us already and we were still asleep. We thought it was just a movie.
It's just hard when you're when you're not where you want to be in life, and if you're listening to this and you're just not satisfied with your position in life. It's hard to think that way. All you want is that thing, but you gotta somewhere along the line figure out how to enjoy yourself. Somewhere along the line, figure out how to just go as hard as you can, but also enjoy it. Try to enjoy it, because that changes the whole tone of the experience, and I think that makes you more successful. I really do, because I think you have more energy, you have more focus, and you collect better energy around you from other people. They feel your energy. They're inspired by the way you live your life and how you treat people and what you do, and how you do things, and they want to do a similar thing. They want to do something that makes them feel that way, and they want other people to feel that way as well. And it's got the butterfly effect. It just goes through all the people that are around you. You need one good day. One good day where you eat clean, you drink a lot of water, and you, like you did, you got that day, you woke up, you put your shoes on, you went for a run, you worked out your driveway, you got a good day in.
Yep.
That's sometimes all you need to do, and decide, this is what I do from now on. I have good days.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be another good day, and then I'm going to force myself into another good day. And the next thing you know, I've got some momentum.
Right.
You got some momentum, you can change everything.
Yep.
I've felt, many times in my life, I've felt like I could slip the wrong way, and I see it. I see the dark hole, and I and just go the other way. The problem is, when people fall into that dark hole, they think that defines them, but it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't define you. It's just you right now. You could be totally different tomorrow. You're a human being. You can think, you can adjust, and there's so much inspiration. It's one of the beautiful things about your Instagram page and many, many other Instagram pages, is that you can take, if you curate your feed correctly and you don't follow a bunch of knuckleheads, you can go to your Instagram or to whatever social media platform you like, and you can go and check out a lot of cool shit.
Oh man,
and you feel good about it. You get fired up, and you want to do good with your life.
Wise man says, enjoy the process. Don't be so focused on results. Oh, oh man. Oh, oh Lord. Oh, 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 oh man. Oh, oh, buddy. Loving a dog or a cat is so easy, but losing them is, very traumatic and painful.
When Tolkien have write his books, he have a contract with the devil. And I will explain you why. So the first time when he go to his publisher, Stanley Unwin, Tolkien explained him that he want to write a book. And he give him a little script from the ideas from his book. Now Stanley on that moment say to Tolkien, listen, it is not really a script of a storyline why we can make a book of it. So he explained on Tolkien what he need to do to make a book or to make a script. So Tolkien say on a moment to him, listen, not a problem, I will adapt my script and I will come back in a few weeks. So Stanley say, okay, no problem, see you in a few weeks. And a few weeks later, Tolkien come to his office with 5 boxes. He put the 5 boxes on his office and he say to him, this is my book. Stanley looked at him and he said to him from, what you mean this is your book? 5 boxes. So Tolkien take each script out each box and propose him the first scripts what will become later Lord of the Rings, Hobbit and all the other books what we know. So when Stanley take all the scripts out the box and he go to begin to look what story he have made, he come to the conclusion that Tolkien have not make only the script of his story, he have make from each civilization their language also, and he have not only make their language, but he have make also the alphabet, the dialects. He was going so much in detail from each civilization that you have nearly a total history of the elves, of the hobbits, of the giants, and so on. So now the question what we need to ask to ourselves, how this man can write so many books in details, so many history in details, without any source what give him this. We know also from the secret history that Tolkien was very knowed with Kabbalah and all mystic rituals. And certainly, so as many famous people before him and after him have used the genies of the demons to have the knowledge, secrets, to write this in a book. So the rituals for successful authors isn't certainly demon from the 72 genies that you can apply on it, and he can give you all the information what you need, all the inspiration also. So of course there is a genie involved in Tolkien that have helped him to write his books, to write all the dialogues, to write all the languages, to write all the scripts. Tolkien is not science fiction. Tolkien is true story. Is a story before humans. Is a story what's happening 350 million years to 250 million years ago. Before that Pangaea, the world continent of the first world continent, was together and was splitting. Tolkien's story is before Atlantis. And when authors go in ritual of in an evocation with a genie of demon to give him the knowledge to write his book, these people come like in a trance, in an automatic trance that you write automatic, like mediums have. The genie take possession, not really of your body, not really of your mind, but from your energy to write. And you begin to write from yourself. You don't know what you write. You read even what your hand write. And so, of course, in a few weeks, Tolkien can write the total script, like many, many other in the future, or people that have used the contract with the devil to write their books. So many authors in the future and in the past have used these jinnies and demons to write their successful books.
What about J.K. Rowling's and Harry Potter series? Would you say, she's also possessed?
Showroom.
Showroom. This is your shop.
No, I'm working here.
You're working here?
Yeah.
All right. What is this?
It's purity.
For babies?
Yeah.
Did you see the date here? Would you sell your child this?
No,
It expired. Now answer me. Would you sell your child? Would you make your child eat this? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you give your child old food?
No.
So why you give our children old food?
But I don't know, I'm working there, maybe, yeah.
All this purity guys, check all the baby food must get out of the
There's
shop
the whole
now.
aisle.
We'll close. Take the whole aisle.
Welcome back, guys. What happened after 1728? Chapter 28, year 1729, repopulation of the continents. If we look in the official history books, we will find that this period that followed the resetting is called the Enlightenment, or Age of Enlightenment, since it was a time where the custodians began to repopulate the continents. Curiously, new theories about the nature of the Earth and the universe were beginning to take shape. How did the repopulation of the new humanity take place? The custodians and Anunnaki had selected to breed babies in their advanced laboratories. Their selection was exclusively based on genetics to have certain physical, intellectual, and emotional characteristics that they had previously stipulated. They also used accelerated incubation so that they would be ready to quickly introduce them to the known continents. Key areas were chosen for this, completely removed from any core regions of Great Tartary, until the final cleansing began to erase most of their structures and advancement. Areas of low temperature and stable humidity climates were chosen. Automated systems were also used that were prepared to assist in the care and development process of those children beginning the new cycle plan. Custodian agents monitored this breeding and supervised that the facilities were adequate. Teaching programs and technology were added for learning aimed at what was previously established for this new cycle. Over time, communities were created under this legacy and adaptation. Thus, custodians' agents began to monitor more and more from the shadows, as it did not require their physical presence. Chapter 29. First known exploration post-reset. Many years later, a small group of this new humanity that was beginning again on the known continents began a strange exploration. Their real motivation is unknown, into remote parts of Siberia. According to some stories left over from that time, it is said that they sighted a strange light coming from the surface into the bright blue skies, and that this attracted their attention enough to enter the areas of the harsh Siberian cold. After an extensive search, the 5 explorers found some caverns that branched into even more entrances to the underground part of the cave, reaching several subterranean levels. Clearly, these explorers had found one of the entrances that connected to the underground city of Great Tartary. With rudimentary rope equipment, they began the descent and began to notice that the further they descended, the more heat their surroundings emitted. The caverns began to change dramatically as they descended, going from rough wooden walls to smooth-walled rooms of gray and blue. Many insignias of an unknown language were also read on their walls, along with logos that they also could not decipher. But the 5 explorers were completely moved by this discovery and tried to bring this knowledge to the authorities. Although the story was simply taken as a mockery and the entire exploration was discredited, it is believed that this exploration started an alternative line of other explorations and theories about the world and its past. The scientific community was beginning to group together and generate societies completely rejected that an underground city could exist, much less beings living there. However, the custodians did not take this well at all and began to plan the total destruction of these underground cities, in addition to investigating if any group of Tartars had survived the reset and could interfere again with their colony that was beginning this new cycle. Representation of the tunnel systems to the gates of the great course of Great Tartary.
If you're around somebody that takes away the good energy from you, you're not going to be yourself. Even if you're a good-spirited person, if you allow somebody with bad energy to be around you every day, you're basically dying faster than you normally would die.
But energy kills your plans. So why you have someone to be around all the time, not good for yourself.
Playing glitches, one that's been drawing a lot of attention is when Selena Gomez tripped during the Silver Carpet Award in 2022. Check this out. Did you see that? While walking out of a photo shoot, Selena Gomez trips. The security guard then helps her out and she walks out of there normally. But there's something strange that most internet users seem to have noticed. If you pay close attention and if we zoom in on the video, you'll see that her foot appears to bend in a way that it's not supposed to. And this caught a lot of attention. While some believe that this is possibly a glitch in the simulation, others theorize that there's something else going on here. But I'm not too sure about this one. It could just be a matter of perspective and camera angle. But I want to know your thoughts. What do you really think is going on here? Is this possibly a glitch or something else? And why are so many people capturing these moments on camera? What's your take?
What?
You're a different story. You're a hacker. You walked into our building. What are you looking at? What are you thinking about? How are you sizing us for our vulnerabilities?
In the hacking world, they would call it reconnaissance or enumeration. What I would be doing is trying to see what type of equipment you have, what computers you're running, what operating system you're running, go on my phone, try to figure out what type of Wi-Fi you're running, you know, whether it be WPA, WP3, etc.
Why does that matter to you? What kind of Wi-Fi?
Different types of attacks depending on some different scenarios. If people have their phones out, is it majority Android or is it majority iPhone? They call it a threat landscape. I would take the attack surface or threat landscape and then try my best to take over as many devices as possible and manipulate as many people in this building that I can to get what I want. If we were on an engagement doing a penetration test.
And how long would a penetration test take with you?
Depends on the size of the business. We have a pretty good team. In my personal opinion, one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. Usually fast and done well. You know, a lot of times I get involved as well. And I seem to be very thorough because I care. It's my company. I'm sure you can relate to that. And
check this out. He's only played Mega Millions twice. This last time landed him the jackpot worth $533 million.
Baby, we get to go on vacation. She goes, what are you talking about? Don't be an idiot. I'm like, no, seriously, we hit it.
Boy, did they ever. 47-year-old Richard Wall wins $533 million playing Mega Millions. At first, he just noticed that he matched the 5 easy pick numbers.
I'm like, I won $1 million. I can't believe it. I was excited, life-changing money.
And then he noticed that final Mega Ball number, and the winning number was 1.
I went over and looked at that 1.
Wow.
I could tell you it didn't sink in.
Congratulations, bro.
It was truly amazing.
Amazing indeed. This is the largest single jackpot winning ticket sold in New Jersey history. So what would you do with all that money?
If I had won $500 million, I would give $250 million back to the inner city of Detroit to help out with more at-risk youth. I would build more community centers to help out with the people so they can learn and be something out here.
Yeah, okay.
I'll probably buy a Lamborghini.
I'll pay everything off of my family and then move from the U.S.
I would definitely be living in Hawaii.
Probably golfing every day. All my family would probably be there, extended family, whoever wants to come. 500 million get you a long way, so I'd be doing that.
But what does Richard Wall plan on doing with all that cash? He says he and his family aren't going to run out and spend all of it. Wall says they'll stay humble and keep to their roots.
We believe God has a plan. So for us, the plan is to do a lot of good things with it. We'll be working with our financial team to make sure those things happen. It's not only life-changing money for me, but I want it to be life-changing money for others.
I hacked into the cellular provider in Los Angeles that serviced the FBI cell phone numbers of the agents that were chasing me. And then by hacking into the cellular provider, I could monitor where they physically were. I could also monitor who they were calling and who was calling them. So based on my traffic analysis and my location data, I was able to find out if the feds ever got close. And in one time, they did. I had an early warning system set up in 1992 when I was working as a private investigator in Los Angeles. When the warning system was stripped off, I found out that the FBI was actually at my apartment, and I was a mile away in Calabasas. But I just drove in from the apartment to work. So obviously they weren't there to arrest me, and I didn't think that they were still near my apartment, that it was to surveil me. So the only logical thing is that they were there to conduct a search. That means to get a search warrant. So the very next day, that evening, I cleaned up everything from my apartment that the FBI may be interested in. And then the very next day, I went out to Winchell's Donuts and got a big dozen assorted donuts, and I labeled the box FBI Donuts, and I put it in the refrigerator. So when they were going to come search, the only thing they would find is I had some donuts for them.